These are 5 things not to do to piss your client off. And this is all the 5 things I'm about to mention is everything I did to piss my client off. Number one thing is, talk to them nicely, man. They're your clients. They're paying you a large sum of money for a project, or even a small sum of money for the project. The fact of the matter is they're paying you attention. That's the most important thing. In a sea full of great designers, great people, they easily could have gone with someone else. They picked you. So talk with them with respect. And if they don't understand something, you should say it in a way or ask questions to get to the root of the problem. You should always get to the root of the problem. That was one thing. I always knew I was working in a salesy job. There are certain indicators that trigger in a salesperson's mind to know that if a client is being serious with what they're saying or if they're not being serious. Now, those triggers were alarming in my head. They were like I never want to blame the client for anything. It's always my fault. Even if the client's done something wrong, I always take the position of blame. However, from my experience, there are clients that will be so wrong to your face. They're literally saying, they would be like 2 + 2 = 19, and you're trying to keep your cool and discuss with them on what the next best step is based off what they said. So I would say the next best thing to do or not to do, would be get to the root of the issue. What is the root? What is this common ground that you guys can both agree on to where conversations can move forward? Because you're a designer, you have a set way of thinking. They're a client, they have a set way of thinking, and you're trying to make these two things match. But you can't do that when you're on the surface. You have to dig down and get to the bottom of why you guys are even speaking. Do your research and know what you're talking about. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I probably will explain the full story of my first ever client because there's a lot of things to get into and pull from it, at least from my own experience. But the main thing is, and I really say this with my chest, is do your research. Always do your research. Always do your background checks and due diligence on the clients, on how they are, who they are, and also with the project, what it is, what exactly entails. Don't just look at the figures. I made that mistake. I looked at the figures. I was desperate in need of money at the time. I looked at that sum of money and I was like, you know what, I could do with a couple of £1,000. I ain't gonna lie, I could do with that. So I based my whole decision on why I took that project on monetarily and not the actual emotional benefit that I possibly would have gotten if I had not taken that on. Or if I, you should always judge. Personally, you should always judge a client or a project not by how much they're paying you, but what you can actually get out of the project apart from money. Because that's the main thing. I mean, money comes and goes, but the skills that you have over time, they will stay with you. And if you pick up bad skills early on from numerous clients, then those will be hard to get rid of in the future. Have some knowledge of sales and objection handling. Now, I come from a sales background, but having said that, my objection handling skills was shit. I completely was really bad at it. But having said, because the reason why you should be better at objection handling, and that's not to always get your way in the conversation, but it's almost to have a self-defense mechanism from a client's volatile questions. There would be some points when I'm dealing with clients where they will ask tough questions, and if you're not trained, if you don't have experience in dealing with these tough scenarios and tough questions, and they'll really press you. Why is this so much money? Why do you think you can charge this much? Why do you want to do this project? You have no experience. This is why I can get this done cheaper by my cousin. All these things you're gonna get thrown at. Price is the number one thing. All these objections, all these reasons you're gonna get thrown at, but it's up to you to understand how to maneuver and not to dodge, because don't dodge these questions. Answer them, but know how to correctly position yourself for the best answer. It's all a chess game. It's all a chess game. They're coming at you with so much force. You need to pump the brakes and understand how you can maneuver and answer the questions the best way, so both of you guys kind of leave happy. So you need to understand that. So a tip for my past self, a past designer, or a current designer that's currently going through a lot of things and doesn't really know how to answer himself and defend himself, I would say spruce up your knowledge on some books. There's a good book that I really recommend. It's called Power Phone Scripts by Mike Brooks. This is actually it's got 500 word-for-word questions, phrases, and conversations to open and close more sales. Now, I'm not saying become a salesman, but you need to have some level of sales skills or salesmanship in your creative work, because without that, that's ultimately what's going to get you the bigger checks in the future. Because as creative people, we always think about the creative first. We never want money. Is such a scary topic for us creatives. We're introverted. We don't know what we're talking about most of the time when it comes to sales. We hate talking about money. It's one of those things that we just constantly avoid. When someone says, how much is it? That's the main question. They want to know how much is it, and you're like, it could be like this. Are you comfortable? You cannot start. You have to be direct with your price, and that leads me on to my last and final point of what things that you should look out for when you're a startup freelancer or a startup designer is your price. Be firm on your price. You're gonna get a lot of no's anyways. One thing I realized, I remember when I first started off doing this freelance journey. When I first got a little bit of success on social media last year, I made it a thing to where, I felt like I could have done consultancy calls. So I started doing consultancy calls on my Instagram and, putting up on my story that, I'm the consultancy guy for social media. It's £50 for a 45-minute slot for consultancy. Now, don't get me wrong, that is very cheap. You're not gonna get £50 for consultancy. A lot of people will charge £100, £500, £1,000 for a consultancy session and a real deep dive. And I thought I was doing these guys a favor as far as £50 for sometimes even £40 for a consultancy slot for an hour. Sometimes it would go on for an hour and a half, and I was really going deep into the business. And I was getting pushbacks from that price. So I said, if people are pushing me back at this price, they're going to push me back at a lower price. So you know what I did? I just quadrupled my prices. I don't do consultancy calls anymore. I actually do that stuff for free now. Why? Because content is more important than the money. And exposure and attention is more important than the money as well. But if you're starting out, and you've got a little bit of experience underneath your belt, you've got a decent portfolio, and you feel like you're getting a lot more interest in your work, stick to your price. And remember, you don't have to have a one-size-fits-all with price. You can always change your price per project that you take on. Obviously, if you've got a bigger project that's got a larger budget, you can charge more. If you've got a smaller project with a smaller budget, you can charge potentially less. But always give them a fair price based on what they want and based on what you can offer them. And I'm sure if you combine that with how you speak to people, your temperament, your objection handling skills, with your sales techniques, you will be able to get the best client that respects you. And it comes with a level of maturity as well. If you can name a price that you can defend it with proper reasons of why you're defending the price, then it comes with a level of experience and shows a little bit of maturity as well. So the clients may look at you in a different realm and respect you in a different realm from that as well. So guys, that's about it. This was originally supposed to be a different video, funny enough, but these are the 5 things that you should look out for or practice or whatever you're gonna do when you're a startup designer, startup freelancer. I've been in your shoes before. I'm still starting up, believe it or not, but I've learned a couple things along the way that I want to share with you guys. If you like what you've seen, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and please hit the bell notifications icon so you're updated whenever I have a new release. I'll be uploading very frequently on this channel. My main thing is not YouTube, but yeah, I'm saying if you wanna subscribe to your boy, subscribe to your boy. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.